Hey everybody, this one is about how Satanists are cowards. Now, let me qualify this a little bit first because, I have no idea about all the Satanists that are out there because, I don't believe that all of them would be cowards. But certainly the ones that are running this New World Order crowd, those are certainly cowards, okay? And we're going to go through and learn why. There's a guy by the name of Mark Passio. He's a former Satanist priest. He's got a YouTube channel. I would suggest you you do a search for him because he's got some great videos, natural law videos about order followers. And he talks about the pillars of Satanism. And one of the pillars of Satanism is moral relativism. He says there's no absolute right or wrong. Truth is relative. We just make up what's right or wrong. What's right or wrong is what we decide today, and tomorrow it'll be something else. Gee, that sounds like a court case. And he says that 2/3 of the people in the world, or in America, I should say, are practicing Satanists. I actually think that he's being generous. I think it'd be more like about 90%. But, I don't know. Anyways, so then he goes on. There's about the pillars of Satanism. Survival is one of them. This is the highest law of Satanism. Social Darwinism. Certain classes of society think they're most fit to rule. Postulates the survival of the most socially ruthless. Ultimate responsibilities and self-preservation. Eugenics. Elite get to determine who lives or dies. Well, gee, that sounds like they're cowards too. Postulates the survival of the most socially ruthless. And so, yeah, that would be cowardice, in my opinion, to go and do things to people, especially you don't give them an opportunity to defend themselves, and all the rest of it. And yeah, absolutely, yeah, I'd say they're probably all cowards. Anyways, order followers, okay, is one of the pillars of Satanism, responsible for all of the atrocities in history. They just follow orders without thinking about whether it's a lawful order or not. They're willing slaves. And I think he's 100% right here, okay, that these order followers and they're Satanists and they're cowards, okay? They work in packs. You need to watch his video about order followers because he just tears the strip off them. It's a great video. Anyways, anyone wearing a military uniform is an agent of the Roman cult. Those are, they could be order followers, but they may not be either, okay? They could be peace officers too. But many of them are order followers. The wearing of clerical dress or religious habit on the part of layfolk is liable to the same penalty on the part of the state as a misuse of a military uniform. And that's Article 10 of the Concordat of 1933 that Hitler signed with the Roman cult. Almost all so-called governments are bankrupt and owned and operated by the Roman cult. At common law, a sheriff would have a star only. At common law, there's no uniform. And the World War II war crimes tribunals, all of the Nazis claimed they were just following orders. Well, gee, that sounds like they were Satanists. And they either suffered death by hanging or spent the rest of their life in jail, and some of them are even still hunted to this day. The My Lai massacre, okay, in Vietnam, they were convicted of murder. Today, order followers are everywhere. Things you see every day using the satanic philosophy of moral relativism: false flag operations, the end justifies the means. Agent provocateurs, the end justifies the means. Entrapment, the end justifies the means. And if you think about it, entrapment is just an agent provocateur that get caught. All court cases are kangaroo courts unless it's a common law court. That's Satanism. The judge is sitting there, he's a clerk, he's playing stupid, he's working for the prosecutor. If you don't know the law or fail to do something properly or follow the right procedure, they sell you into slavery. The biggest problem we have is we have respect for these people. They deserve nothing but contempt. They have no authority, and they're using their satanic, unconstitutional commercial codes. They're a bunch of cowards. They're slipping something over on you. Everything they do is a fraud. They are absolute cowards. Then, they're nothing but Satanists. It's a fundamental right of a party to have a neutral and detached judge preside over judicial proceedings. That's Ward versus Village of Monroe, U.S. Supreme Court, and then Rundle versus Delaware, and Raritan Canal Company, another U.S. Supreme Court case. My opinion, and it long has been, that the mayor and alderman of a city corporation or the president directors of a bank or the president directors of a railroad company or of other similar corporations are the true parties that sue and are sued as trustees and representatives of the constantly changing stockholders. A corporation, therefore, being not a natural person, but a mere creature of the mind, invisible and intangible, cannot be a citizen, of a state or of the United States, and cannot fall within the terms or power of the above-mentioned article, and can therefore neither plead nor be impleaded in the courts of the United States. So, again, they get you to commit fraud, and once you commit fraud, once you participate in their fraud, then you can object to it. If any court case to have a plaintiff like State of Texas or Queen of Right of Alberta or Queen of Right of Canada or Department of Justice or State of California or United States or anything like that, it's a fraud. It's a fraud. These corporations have no standing to do anything. A bill of attainder is a special legislative act that imposes a death sentence on a person without a trial. A special legislative act, okay? That's special act. And there's only certain acts that are special acts, and well, actually all acts that they're all special, quite frankly. There's none of them really apply to everybody. Bills of attainder are prohibited by the U.S. Constitution, and when the courts have ruled that when a judge is dealing with a statute, he's a clerk, he's bought and paid for a clerk, masquerading as a judge, and he cannot do anything judicial. So then, by definition, that's a bill of attainder. A bill of pains and penalties is a special legislative act, though similar to a bill of attainder, prescribes punishment less severe than capital punishment. Well, you know, what they do is assault you with their cestui trust, so that's equivalent to capital punishment, actually. Bills of pains and penalties are included within the U.S. Constitution's bans on bills of attainder. A bill of attainder means a legislative act, no matter what their form, that apply either to named individuals or to easily ascertainable members of a group in such a way as to inflict punishment on them without a judicial trial. And that's my point. When a judge is dealing with a statute, the courts have ruled numerous times that when a judge is dealing with a statute, that he's no longer a judge, he's a clerk, he's a bought and paid for a clerk masquerading as a judge, and clerks masquerading as a judge cannot do anything judicial. It's not a judicial trial. So then by definition, it's a bill of attainder. Once a fraud, always a fraud. Things invalid from the beginning cannot be made valid by subsequent act. A thing void in the beginning does not become valid by lapse of time. Everything they do is a fraud, okay? That's what Satanists do. Okay, they're liars, okay? They're cowards. That's why they're engaging in fraud and lies, okay? Because they don't want you to know what you're doing. They don't want you to know what they're doing. That's why they engage in fraud and lies. They're cowards. They are cowards of the worst sort. Time cannot render valid an act void in its origin. Out of fraud, no action arises. Any act by any government official to conceal a fraud becomes an act of fraud. It is a fraud to conceal a fraud, and fraud is inexcusable and unpardonable. Fraud and deceit should excuse no man. These are all maxims of law. Any fraud amounts to injustice. Fraud and justice never dwell together. And what is otherwise good and just is sought by force or fraud. It becomes bad and unjust. And it's Brutum Fulmen. An empty noise, an empty thread, a judgment void upon its face, which is in legal effect no judgment of all, and by which no rights are divested, and from which no one can be obtained, neither binds nor bars anyone. And that's Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. And a little advertisement we're going to insert here. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to click on the bell next to the subscribe button so that you're notified when there's a new upload. And there's the front page of the channel, and the arrow is pointing at the bell. You click on that bell, and then you'll be notified whenever there's a new upload. In the scriptures, it talks about it, John 8:44, you're the father of the devil, and the lusts of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he's a liar and the father of it. That's what these Satanists do. They're liars, and the reason they're lying is because they're cowards. They don't want to come out in open warfare against you. They wouldn't want to do that. Then you might be making arrangements to get them hung because they're engaging in treason and sedition and all sorts of stuff. So they're just going to sneak around. They're cowards and sneak around behind your back and try and get you into some contract that you have no idea you're involved in. They're cowards. They're the lowest form of life there is. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And that's hell. They're going to get to go to hell. The end justifies the means is satanic. Woe unto them that call good evil and evil good, put darkness for light and light for darkness. This is the moral relativism that Passio talks about. I know thy works and tribulation. I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews or Christians, etc., but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And now another little ad announcing a subscription-based YouTube channel called Sovereignty International. The recommended cost of the subscription is currently at $1.99 because it only avoids the advertising. When I was originally made up this channel, I was thinking that I would have some exclusive material on there, but you know, the only power these New World Order Satanists have over us is through fraud and deception. And my agenda is to expose it for all our benefit. And so I can't think of anything that I want to have exclusively on there. I may come up with something that'll be exclusive, but right now I can't guarantee it. And so it's $1.99 a month. You'll just miss out on the advertising, and and it'll be a good way to make donations too if you want to, you know, donate a little bit. Certainly help out the cause. I'm currently publishing 6 videos a week. And some people were having trouble finding the channel, and so I put a link down there at the bottom of the page. And also, here's the front page of the channel, and the link to the channel is up at the top too. And somebody sent me a donation, and you can't send me a donation because I cannot sign you up. Okay, you got to sign up. I don't know what YouTube wants in order to get you signed up. And I have no control over who's signed up and who isn't, except that I could probably kick people off of there if I wanted to, there's something I could do. But so the bottom line is that if you want to sign up, then you got to click the start free trial. You get 14 days free, and it's $1.99 a month. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. These low intelligence, these Satanists, they go and hire low intelligence Leos, okay? Remember, they're cowards. They screen out intelligent people in the hiring process for the law enforcement officers. Jordan versus City of New London, which is a case that went to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, was case number 99-9188. Robert Jordan had a master's degree and scored too high on their test. He was too intelligent. They didn't want anybody with brains on their police force. The chief of police, if you think about it, the chief of police is a coward and wants to send out ignorant officers to assault people so that they can bring in revenue for him. Okay, that's exactly what's going on. He's a coward. He wants to sneak around and go and leave this guy and get this other guy hanging in the breeze, and he may get away with it, he may not. And meanwhile, the chief of police can say, oh, I didn't know anything about it. He's a coward. He is just the lowest form of life there is, and they're all like this. Revenue is a major source of revenue. All these cities and towns are getting major revenue off of these cops. Matter of fact, they call police revenue as a part of the budget. Anyways, this is an ABC News Internet article in New London, Connecticut, September 8, 2000. A man whose bid to become a police officer was rejected after he scored too high on an intelligence test and lost an appeal in his federal lawsuit against the city. And more cowardice, okay? The news media, they're Satanists and they're cowards. They see my propaganda for war video. All propaganda has to be popular and has to accommodate itself to be comprehension of the least intelligent of those whom it seeks to reach. Okay, and that's a quote by Hitler. I'm sure that they look up to Hitler really well. The people will believe what the media tells them to believe, and that's another thing by George Orwell. I'm sure he's one of their heroes too. Hundreds of billions of dollars are spent every year to control the public mind. And then there's another thing, the false flag operations. These Satanists are, and again, they're cowards, okay? Think about it. There's false flag operations have become a normal way of doing business. There are dozens of them that the government openly admits to. And how many have they not told us about yet? There's 42 admitted false flag attacks. And false flag attack is a horrific staged event based on a political enemy and used as a pretext to start a war or enact draconian laws in the name of national security. Think about it. These people are cowards. The people that put on the false flag operation are cowards. They don't want to go out and start making war and open warfare against somebody. They want to have a whole bunch of people gang up on them. The people that are doing it themselves behind the scenes, they're cowards. They're the lowest form of life there is. How could you tell when Obama was lying? His lips were moving. He's a Satanist and he's a coward. How could you tell when Clinton was lying? And I don't care whether you want to talk him or her, okay? It's whatever. It's their lips were moving. They're Satanists. The Bushes weren't much better. Both parties are full of Satanism. Satanists, a large percentage of them. None of them did anything themselves other than lying. They had their Satanist order followers murder tens of thousands of people. These Satanist cowards would never face you themselves, especially when there are so many order followers that are willing to go out and do it for them. Again, this is all Satanism. Obama lied about the real unemployment statistics. Obama lied about the real economic indicators, and of course, he's a coward. He went and probably issued an executive order and told whoever in the department to lie. And so then you have an order follower, and you have Obama, the coward that's running behind it. And so Obama started and funded ISIS. Obama is responsible for millions of refugees flooding into Europe and America who are fleeing the Middle East. And the reason they're leaving the Middle East is because Obama destroyed all the infrastructure there with their bombs that were dropped by cowards. People that are order followers that have no concept of who they're dropping these bombs on and might be innocent people, and probably are in many cases. Generally speaking, the Democratic Party and their supporters are the worst Satanists, although that's not 100% true. There's good people in there too, but generally speaking, they're the worst one. Reagan was better than most, and the cowards tried to murder him. Kennedy was murdered 7 days after he stated he had to notify the people about a plot to enslave every man, woman, and child. Kennedy's true murderers were never found, but the cowards set up Oswald to take the fall. I would call Kennedy a good and honorable man, but he's by no means perfect. None of us are. There's a plot to this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose this plot. And that's John F. Kennedy 7 days before he was murdered. I want to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. And I think that's just nothing but a gang of cowards, the CIA is. Okay, that's exactly what it is. They're working in secret. They don't want to come out in open warfare against anybody. They work in secret. They assassinate people. They murder people. And it's all done in secret. They're cowards. They are just the lowest form of life there is, in my opinion. JFK exposes ruthless conspiracy, the president and the press speech. We are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. If it's a system, it is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. That awkward moment when you realize the same government that's supposed to protect us from terrorists is the terrorist. And you notice there, okay, that's a gang, okay? That's telling me they're cowards. They're not going to go out and do it by themselves. They want to have all the shielding in case somebody stands up for themselves. They want to have protection. They're cowards. They won't face anybody on their own. They're cowards. These Satanist cowards want to make sure they have all sorts of armaments to help them avoid the consequences of their actions. These Satanist cowards want to hide inside tanks or drop bombs from miles away to hide from their victims. I wonder if the Satanists would so blindly follow orders that they knew the people on the other end could find out who they were. All warfare is about deception. These are Satanists and they're cowards. If you think this is for your protection, you clearly have no idea what's going on. These people are street gangs. This is exactly what they are. They're cowards. Look at that. They're a whole lineup. What have the people got in that house? They don't have a warning. They come in, they break the door down, and what are they going to do? It's probably in an area where that Obama goes and takes away their guns so they can't even defend themselves, and they have body armor and stuff on them so that it wouldn't help even if you did try and defend yourself. These people are Satanists and they're cowards. Can you spot the terrorists? I sure can. And they got body armor and all sorts of stuff all over them because they're Satanists and they're cowards. They're afraid of getting shot. They're cowards. Now in the use of violence and intimidation in the pursuit of political aims. And there's the biggest coward of them all, right there in the middle. And he's surrounded by a bunch of a street gang of cowards. And there's warning, this is the standing army you were told not to tolerate. And now another little advertisement, Bankster Thieves 1, 2, and 3. My other videos. Check out some of my other videos, Churchianity series, Bankrupt Corporate So-Called Governments, Bar Members 1, 2, and 3, Do-It-Yourself, How Not to Volunteer for the Selective Service in the Draft, Martial Laws here, Do-It-Yourself, No Income Tax, Do-It-Yourself, No Sales Tax, Do-It-Yourself, Traffic Stop 1 and 2, Do-It-Yourself, Free Mail, Do-It-Yourself, Kangaroo Courts 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Mark Passio is right when he says the majority of the people in this country are practicing Satanists. Most so-called Christian churches are effectively muzzled by the Johnson Amendment, and because they cannot speak what they view to be the truth, the best they can do is speak half-truths and falsehood, which means they're actually Satanists. That's what Satanism is all about, half-truths and falsehoods, as Passio said. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but when George Bush Jr. first took power, in the first 6 months, okay, there was a Southern Baptist temple in Indianapolis, Indiana that got padlocked by the IRS. Well, they had 501c3 tax-exempt status, and they had said bad things about the government. And when you get that 501c3 tax-exempt status, the government just comes in and you say nasty things about the government. Well, you're not entitled to free speech. That's a contract. And so they shut them down. I know thy works and tribulation. I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews or Christians and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. In the late 1970s, the Pope visited Alberta, Canada. I happened to live up there at the time. They had full-page articles in the Edmonton Journal talking about Roman cult atrocities throughout history. They murdered everybody who didn't agree with the decisions of the Council of Nicaea. The history is full of the murders of the Roman cult. They exterminated the Cathars circa around 1400 AD. They had copulation contests in the Vatican and much more. And I got to say that this is not talking about all Catholic people, because I have wonderful friends who happen to be Catholic, and they're actually the ones that are giving me this information. But Father Malachi Martin was a wonderful guy. He was a Catholic monk. He used to go to Coast to Coast AM and talk about the satanic nature of the Roman cult, and he turned up dead shortly thereafter. Is that a surprise? This is the Jesuit oath, okay? These Jesuits are cowards of the worst sort, okay? They are absolute cowards, and you'll see in their oath, they're talking about their cowardice. It says, the superior speaks, my son, heretofore you've been taught to act the dissembler, okay? Gee, that sounds like cowardice. That sounds like going in and spying on people and stirring up all sorts of stuff. Matter of fact, listen to this. Among Roman Catholics, be a Roman Catholic, and to be a spy, even among your own brethren. That sounds like a coward. To believe no man, to trust no man, among the Reformers to be a Reformer, among the Huguenots to be a Huguenot, among the Calvinists to be a Calvinist, among other Protestants generally to be a Protestant, and obtaining their confidence. He's a coward. He's sneaking around to seek to preach from their pulpits and to denounce with all vehemence in your nature of your holy religion and the Pope. He's a coward. He doesn't want to say anything about him being a Roman cult type guy. And even to descend so low as to become a Jew among Jews, that you might be enabled to gather together all information for the benefit of your order as a faithful soldier of the pimp. Oh man, sorry, that's the Pope. No, actually it's the pimp. Anyways, it goes on. You've been taught to insidiously plant the seeds of jealousy and hatred between communities, provinces, states that were at peace, and incite them to deeds of blood, involving them in war with each other. See, he's a coward. He's going to go and foment this war, and he's going to say behind the scenes and just sit back there and get his jollies is what's going to happen, and to create revolutions and civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous, cultivating the arts and sciences and enjoying the blessings of peace, to take sides with the combatants and to act secretly with your brother Jesuit who might be engaged on the other side. So now you got Jesuits on both sides of any conflict. You don't think that's going on today? Of course it's going on today. But openly opposed to that which you might be connected, okay? So they're cowards. They don't want to tell anybody they're doing that. Only that the church might be the gainer in the end, okay? So their Roman cult handlers benefit from it all. In the conditions fixed in the treaties for peace, and the end justifies the means. Okay, that's Satanism. You have received all your instructions heretofore as a novice, a neophyte, and have served as coadjutor, confessor, and priest. But you have not yet been invested with all that is necessary to command in the army of Loyola in the service of the pimp. You must serve the proper time as the instrument and executioner as directed by your superiors. For none can command here who has not consecrated his labors with the blood of the heretic. Okay, so you got to go out and murder people. Okay, and of course, he's not going to come out in open warfare and give the other guy a chance to defend himself. He's going to go and stab him in the back. He's a coward. Without the shedding of blood, no man can be saved. Therefore, to fit yourself for your work and make your salvation sure, you will, in addition to your former oath of obedience to your order and allegiance to the Pope, repeat after me. Okay, this is the preamble. Now we're talking about the oath. And this is actually taken from the congressional record. Okay, so anyways, let's go on. It says, I, Joe Blow, now in the presence of Almighty God, the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Blessed Michael the Archangel, the Blessed St. John the Baptist, the Holy Apostles, St. Peter and St. Paul, and all the saints and sacred hosts of heaven, and to you, my ghostly father, the Superior General of the Society of Jesus, founded by St. Ignatius Loyola and the Pontiffs of Paul III, and continued to the present, do by the womb of the Virgin, the matrix of God, and the rod of Jesus Christ, declare and swear that His Holiness the Pope is Christ's vice-regent, and is true and only head of the Catholic or universal church throughout the earth, and by virtue of the keys of binding and loosing given to His Holiness by my Savior Jesus Christ, He hath power to depose heretical kings, princes, states, commonwealths, governments, and all being illegal, without His sacred confirmation, that they may safely be destroyed. And it's interesting that anytime there's a war, they have to get the Pope's permission to go and attack. And there's even, I got this in one of my videos, I show how they went and got permission from the Pope to attack ISIS. Therefore, to the utmost of my power, I shall and will defend this doctrine of His Holiness's right and custom against all usurpers of the heretical or Protestant authority, whatever, especially the Lutheran of Germany, Holland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and now the pretended authority of the churches of England and Scotland, and branches of the same now established in Ireland and on the continent of America and elsewhere, and all adherents in regard that they may be usurped and heretical, opposing the Mother Church of Rome. I do now renounce and disown any allegiance as due to any heretical king, prince, or state named Protestants or liberals, or obedience to any of the laws, magistrates, or officers. I do further declare that I will help, assist, advise all or any of His Holiness's agents in any place wherever I shall be, in Switzerland, Germany, Holland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, England, Ireland, or America, or any other kingdom or territory I shall come to, and to my utmost to expurgate the heretical Protestants or liberals' doctrines, and to destroy all their pretended powers, or regal or otherwise. I do further promise and declare that I will have no opinion or will of my own, in other words, he's an order follower, or any mental reservation whatever, even as a corpse or cadaver, but will unhesitatingly obey and every command that I may receive from my superiors. He's an order taker in the militia of the Pope and of Jesus Christ. I furthermore promise and declare that I will, when opportunity present, make and wage relentless war, secretly or openly. See, he's a coward. Against all heretics, Protestants, and liberals, as I am directed to do, to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, that I will spare neither age, sex, or condition, that I will hang, waste, boil, flay, strangle, bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, crush their infants' heads against the walls. He's going to murder children, and children certainly can't defend themselves, but that's what they're saying they're going to do here. They're cowards. They'll never let on. They'll do it in secret. They're nothing but Satanists. They're cowards, in order to annihilate forever their inexorable race. That when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poison cup. He's a coward, the strangulating cord, the steel of the poniard, or the leaden bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, dignity, or authority of the person or persons, whatever they may be in their condition in life, either public or private, as I at any time may be directed so to do, by any agent of the Pope or superior of the Brotherhood of the Holy Faith of the Society of Jesus. Okay, so in confirmation of which I hereby dedicate my life, my soul, and my corporal powers. With this dagger which I now receive, I will subscribe my name written in my own blood and testimony thereof. And should I provide faults or weaken in my determination, may my brethren and fellow soldiers of the militia of the Pope cut off my hands and my feet and my throat from ear to ear, my belly open and sulfur burned therein, with all the punishment that can be inflicted upon me on earth, and then my soul be tortured by demons in an eternal hell forever. All of which I do swear by the blessed Trinity and blessed sacraments, which I am now to receive, to perform on my part, to keep inviolable, and do all the heavenly and most and glorious host of heaven to witness this blessed sacrament of the Eucharist, and witness the same further with my name written with the point of this dagger dipped in my own blood and sealed in the face of this holy covenant. And this is taken from the book Subterranean Rome by Charles Didier, translated from the French and published in New York in 1843. And Dr. Alberto Rivera escaped from the Jesuit order in 1967, and he describes his Jesuit oath in exactly the same way as it appears in this book. The Jesuit Oath of Induction, which is also recorded in the Congressional Record, House Bill 1523, contested election of Eugene C. Bonnewell against Theo S. Butler, February 15, 1913, pages 3215 to 3216. And so that's the Jesuit oath. So these people are Satanists, okay? Now, this is an image of a satanic religious ceremony. And you know, I want to say that this shows Obama, Nelson Rockefeller, George Herbert Walker Bush, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Alan Greenspan, Ted Turner, and others. And I have no idea if they're involved in a satanic cult. But it's well documented that they murder babies, okay? And this is how Satanists, how they're cowards, okay? That baby has no means of defending itself. And they love to shed innocent blood. I think Rockefeller is one of them for sure. And there's good reason to believe that many of the people in here are actually involved in satanic rituals, but I don't know for sure. At any rate, a baby is the most innocent thing there is, and that's what they want to kill. And they love to shed innocent blood. And there's the Pope kissing Rockefeller's hand. And most so-called Christian churches are actually satanic. See my churchianity videos. Any church that has 501c3 tax-exempt status is satanic. Both of the recent popes have been convicted of child trafficking, rape, and murder in connection with the Ninth Circle Satanic Child Sacrifice Cult, and they had 48 eyewitnesses. And these people are cowards. They prey on children and babies, people that can't defend themselves, and they don't want to give anybody an opportunity to defend themselves because they might get hurt or they might get caught. These people are cowards. And here's this is taken from a website that I had. I think it's childabuse.com or something like that. Yesterday, defendants Pope Francis Bergoglio, Catholic Jewish Superior General, that's the head of the Jesuits, Jesuit Superior General Adolfo Pachon, and Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby were found guilty of rape, torture, murder, and trafficking of children. 5 judges of the International Common Law Court of Justice in Brussels determined the crimes occurred as recently as 2010. Since last March, over 48 eyewitnesses have come forward to testify before the International Common Law Court of Justice about the defendants' activities as members of the Ninth Circle Satanic Child Sacrifice Cult. The Ninth Circle Satanic Cult is said to do child sacrifices at Roman Catholic cathedrals in Montreal, New York, Rome, Scotland, London, Carnarvon Castle in Wales, undisclosed French chateau in Holland, and at Canadian Catholic and Anglican Indian residential schools in Kamloops, British Columbia, and Brantford, Ontario. The Ninth Circle Satanic Child Sacrifice Cult is believed to use privately owned forest groves in the U.S., Canada, France, Holland for their human hunting parties. Okay, again, they make sure that the people aren't armed. They're cowards, okay, and then they are armed. And so what chance do they have? Of course, they're going to go and hunt you down. And they're Satanists, okay? They're cowards. They're the lowest form of life there is. And this is actually a warrant that was issued. It says there, in the matter of crimes against humanity, public notice of international citizens' arrest. And then this is actually up close. It's kind of blurry. And then this is the International Common Law Court of Justice, the warrant that was issued March 5th, 2013. It goes on, you're hereby commanded and authorized to arrest the other persons named in this warrant and bring him or her forthwith to the nearest public reclamation facility to serve the sentence pronounced by this court on February 25th, 2013. These persons are guilty of crimes against humanity and active involvement in ongoing criminal conspiracy under the statutes of the International Criminal Court and the United Nations Convention on the Crime of Genocide and according to natural law. Complete list of persons duly convicted and sentenced by this court who are subject to immediate arrest under the power of this warrant is found attached. And so then let's go there. Okay, so we have Ratzinger as the first one, the Superior General of the Jesuit Order, the Secretary of State of Vatican City, the College of Cardinals, Vatican City. It's got a bunch of people. The bitch, Elizabeth Wenzel, no disrespect to dogs intended. She's going to be in hell pretty soon. I heard their health is failing. And then there's Stephen Harper, the Prime Minister of Canada, Murray Sinclair, the Chairman of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Ottawa, and all sorts of them here. I guess there's about 30, according to what that said. These Satanist cowards love to shed innocent blood. They're cowards because they do not openly attack anybody, especially anybody that can defend themselves. They want to have something that's nice and easy. There's Georgetown University is owned and operated by the Jesuits. There's other Jesuit universities around the world. How many people from these Jesuit universities are working for governments at various levels? Are we surprised that there are false flag operations, agent provocateurs, and entrapment going on? These satanic courts like all this because it makes so much business for them. And the Iranians call the United States the Great Satan. Well, they might have something there. And there's certainly Satanists that are involved. Actually, it's the UN that's the Great Satan. The United States is as much a victim of it all as anybody, probably. Anyways, this is the United Nations meditation room. It's clearly an altar. The 10 backless benches are not in the image. That's for the 10 kings, I guess. All churches are called non-governmental organizations. The publishing company for the United Nations is called the Lucis Press, which formerly was called the Lucifer Publishing Company, now called the Lucis Trust. And that's their website, lucistrust.org. They're Satanists. Now we've got new leadership as President of the United States. He ran on what the bought and paid for news media say is a populist campaign. So far, Trump has been doing exactly what he said he would do, in my opinion. Some people are concerned that he's appointed people who are considered insiders. Other people say that you need people with inside knowledge to affect real change, and I think that that's probably the case. The day before the inauguration, I got an email that said that Mike Pence would take his oath on Ronald Reagan's Bible, open to 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. And 2 Chronicles 7 and 14 says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and heal their land. And there's a picture of Mike Pence taking his oath, and there's a Bible there or something that's open, and I'm guessing that it might be Reagan's Bible. It might be what that email says, but I don't know for sure. I don't know for a fact that Pence has taken his oath on the Bible. It's open to that location, or that he's using Ronald Reagan's Bible. As we come to an understanding that these men are good and honorable men, we have a duty before God to support them all the way to our last dying breath. And we should all pray for their safety, because their opposition is diabolically evil and will stop at nothing. And so I pray for them every day. I pray that they'll do the right thing, and I pray that they'll be protected as they do the right thing. Anyways, Trump, the man who gave up his billionaire lifestyle to be humiliated, ridiculed, and slandered to save the American people. Let that sink in. Anyways, copies of these documents can be found at my private group at Yahoo called Administering Your Public Servants. I have YouTube videos that are videos of private information shares that show these and other court citations that are available for a donation. And this last paragraph is for all the Satanist order follower revenue officers that are operating in their private capacity under the Federal Tax Lien Act of 1966. They can put their privileges and benefits up their rectal orifice because I prefer gold or silver coin. But as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept their IOUs, their commercial paper, Federal Reserve notes, PayPal guest checks, money orders, etc. Send me an email for particulars. My blog is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com. My website is sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email address is engineerwin@yahoo. My YouTube profiles are Sovereign Living and Sovereignty International. My Facebook community page, I deleted it due to censorship by Facebook. My private group, Sovereignty International is being deleted. It takes a while to delete 17 or ban 17,000 people off a group. My Yahoo private group is called Administrating Your Public Servants, and my Google private group is called Administrating Your Public Servants. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this thing. I think we all need to understand that the cowards, and we need to start having some honor, and everybody can repent. You know, I don't have a problem with that. People repent all the time, and so in a way, that's an opportunity for people to repent. And anyways, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and I hope you have a real nice day.